is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome back, y'all, to the Tuffy Talk live show, y'all. As you see, you got myself, Blaine Smith, Michael Tracy, and Greg DeLeg here with us. But Greg DeLeg is once again tuning in from his hotel room, man. I'm telling you, Greg DeLeg is next level when it comes to off-site studios. Like, I think Joe Ovies and Gilio, I know for a while with their new studios and running around, they've been trying to figure it out. Well, they need to learn a thing or two from Greg. I'm telling you, like the background's on point, the microphone and the lighting's, working, and then you got the even the little Tuffy ears, man. I love it.
Yeah, we're at Great Wolf Lodge, so I figured, we're at every Wolfpack's favorite resort, I guess, right? It's throwing me off seeing these signs for the workers. It says pack members only, and I feel like I should be able to go to that door since I'm a member of the pack. Yeah. So anyway, how's everyone doing?
Doing beautiful, man. Can't complain. Hopefully after this, you'll be going and having a drink or something like that, man. Having a good time.
I mean, I'm already waterlogged, so I just figured I'd have some more water. But good to go.
There you go. Well, all right, Wolfpack Nation, if you've been with us before, you know the drill. But if you haven't been with us before, any questions, thoughts, comments that you have, feel free to put them in the chat, and we will get to them here today. But we definitely have a ton to get here to today. But also, too, got to give a huge shout out as well. Is if you haven't checked out last week yet, we released 4 new episodes last week, and we're going to be releasing 4 new episodes this week, starting off with tomorrow morning. When you wake up, you'll have an episode there ready to go with the one, the only Eric McLean, baby, from ACC Network. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And if you don't want to miss out on that, all you have to do is hit this free subscribe button, which helps us a ton. And also, too, in return, you will be notified by also hitting that notification bell whenever we release any new NC State content, as well as we are getting closer and closer. How many more live shows do we have until the first game? We got 2 more live shows until
should be 2.
No. 2 more shows. It's crazy. Yep, coming down. 17. The Phillip River Day is away from opening game, man. It's crazy. It's a great time.
Real quick, funny story about that. I showed my wife that at the pool this afternoon, and I told her, I said, happy Phillip Rivers Day. She's like, oh yeah. She's like, why? And I was like, first off, she's married into this, so I'm trying to get her up to speed. And I was like, well, he wore 17. We're 17 days away from kickoff. She's like, oh, I said we're 17 days, and then she asked, is that his number or how many kids she had? Or he has. I was like, oh, you're not bad. You're not far off on that one. So
yeah, I guess in a couple more days we'll have another Phillip Rivers Day.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, y'all. So with that being said, before we get into anything else, we asked all of our followers on our local Discord to send in your mailbag questions for the day. So in order to make sure that we get to them here, let's go ahead and get right to them. So here we go. Let's jump on over to Tuffy's mailbag. All righty. So the first question comes, are UNC fans getting out of hand with Gus Ritchie flipping his commitment? We're going to get right down to it. I mean, there's no like roller coaster slowly working our way up. Now we're just going full on, just jumping off the cliff. Let's go for it. So, just for a little bit of insight, in case you've been living under a rock, and you're an NC State fan, there's a 3/4-star defensive line, but mainly tight end recruit that's from Pittsburgh, North Carolina, that flipped from UNC, who we committed to about 2 weeks ago, to NC State on Saturday, and it's part of the class of 2025. And we had some fun with that one. I know for me here at Tuffy Talk came out with a little fun video and a little fun graphic that just was an inspiration, and it was a lot of fun to make, and obviously a lot of fans loved it as well, which is great to see. But I mean, since then, there's UNC fans going off left and right saying, man, NC State fans are acting like they won the Super Bowl, and they're acting like they did all this, did all that, just because we flipped one recruit. And I mean, before I give my thoughts, Greg, give me yours first. I'm curious your thoughts on it.
So before I give you my thoughts, I just want to ask a question. Like, I can't remember a time where we had a state commit and then flipped to Carolina. Is there anything that runs off of that for either one of you two?
There's been a couple. I think Adorno, Jonathan Adorno. I don't know. I think it's his first name. He's a lineman, and then Stephen Gosnell, who flipped, but then now he's at Virginia Tech too. I think.
Yeah,
so he didn't even stick there. But no, nothing. I mean, not any significant players. I mean, we'll see if what happens with Richie if he ends up being significant. But the last one we flipped was pretty significant in Peyton.
Yeah, Peyton. So. Yeah, for sure. I just it's fun. I think you hit it on the head there, Leighton. It's just fun to just just poke the bear, if you will, or poke the ram. But I don't know. I guess maybe we would be the same way. I don't know, maybe to a degree. Again, it hasn't really happened where, it's been rubbed in our face by them. So I think maybe they're just to use a term, butthurt about it.
Yeah. Well, and because it's funny. So, so when it happened, one of the first things I did was I found that Inside Carolina tweet of the clip of Gus Ritchie committing, and I did the Shannon Sharp, like me and being like, you ain't coming to UNC, and they actually deleted that tweet now. So now all you see is the Shannon Sharp meme, and then it says tweet deleted by author. So
too much heat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
too much heat. What?
No, I just said there's too much heat for them. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Well, and he's not committed to them anymore, so it doesn't make sense for them to keep that up.
Yeah,
true. Michael, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I like it obviously because it's fun and it is positive in our favor. But I'm sure there would be a little bit of the same response if it went the other way. But the funniest thing to me is that there's a good portion of the UNC fan base that is convinced this was an orchestrated effort by Dave Doeren to get Gus Ritchie to commit on Inside Carolina's live stream just to flip back to us 11 days later. That was he knew that was coming, so he was like, yeah, I'm going to set him up for this.
I mean,
by the way, that's in the middle of fall camp.
Right. Yeah. You think he has time to think about that?
The second week of fall
camp. I hope
camp,
he doesn't have time to think about that. But I mean, but come on. Doeren's not that guy. Come on. Don't even be like that. But the other thing, so first of all, I've always been one, I know that a lot of UNC fans, block, Tuffy talk, and not a fan of Tuffy talk, poking at Tuffy talk, and because, we are definitely big pushers and proponents giving them a hard time. But I've always been one to say, I want the NC State UNC rivalry to be more. I want it to grow. I want it to be, a really heated rivalry. Not nothing to the point of
getting doxxed,
getting over the edge, per se. But but intense rivalry. Because again, UNC said just a few years ago it feels like they're not our rival. That's just not our rival. So we're going a little overboard. But the other thing which I want to bring up though as a point is that one of the first things that UNC fans pushed back was the recruiting rankings and about how UNC ranked ahead in 2024 and 2025. It's state's I think 3 and UNC's 4, but there's it's class 2025. Everybody only has 2 or 3 commits right now in class 2025. And so I did a little research, and so let me kind of give you some numbers here. So in the last 10 years, since from 2023, the class of 2023 to the class of 2013, state has never ranked higher than UNC in the recruiting team rankings.
Never.
The closest it ever got was in 2019. UNC ranked 5th, and North Carolina and State ranked 6th in the ACC. And then 2018, UNC was 4th, NC State was 6th. So kind of goes to show. But yet, all that being said, Doeren is 6-4 against UNC, and he's 5 of 7 in the last 7 years against UNC. So I'm sitting here saying, if there ever comes a time where NC State can rank as high, if not higher than UNC, if nothing else changes, it's game over. Simple as that, because I think that's honestly one of the only things that really is, keeping UNC in it. But because there's no doubt that we're winning the development part, market. Look at Storm Duck, example A, and then for us, we have a ton of examples. Example B, that we're developing. They're just not able to develop at the level we are. Hype wise, support wise, we have now sold out 5 of our 7 games, less than 2,000 tickets left, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. UNC, the only 2 games they've sold out are App State and Duke, which are like, well, they're going to sell out. But
That's
every other
'cause
game,
the
Miami,
App State and Duke fans are buying tickets.
that too. But then also too, like the UVA, Miami, and some others, like which are pretty big games, they haven't sold out yet. So that also goes to show. And then just again, the fact that everything else is basically what I'm saying included is that just if we ever caught up to them in terms of recruiting, then it would be a game over. Now, I know a lot of fans will immediately say, well, why can't we catch up to UNC? Well, because I think first, one of the biggest things I think that Doeren does a great job of is only going after guys with his culture. I think he really is very dead set on you have to be a team before I guy. Like you have to be, what's best for the team is best for me kind of guy. And unfortunately, if you're going after a lot of these 4-star, 5-star guys, they're looking for 7-figure NIL deals. They're looking to go to the pros. They're looking to raise their platform. And again, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm just saying. That's just the majority. And and so unfortunately, guys like that just don't really fit in our culture now. Like a guy like Jonathan Paylor. Like everything I've seen from him. He's a borderline top 100 recruit in the country, but from a character perspective, everything that I've seen and heard about him from coaches, from his family, you name it, he is all in on the team. Right after he committed, the first thing he did was told his team to do their team chant, which I love that. Like basically being like, hey, let's go, boys. Like this is our season. I've committed. Now let's go, win a state championship this year. I love that. So I think that's kind of a big thing too. I think UNC goes for the biggest guys they can, but I think we go more for the culture guys that we know we can develop into great players.
Yeah, I'll say the other thing too is I think the at least the Carolina recruits, they get wowed by the flash, right? You walk in, you see the Jordan shoes, you go in, you get recruited when they play Duke basketball. Like it's just it's all centered around basketball. It's not football centric, football focused. So it's easy, when you walk into an arena of 23,000, I don't even know what the Dean Dome holds and I don't really care, but it's easy to get, overwhelmed when they have their biggest recruiting visits during these events. And I get it. Like it's smart. That, you want to wow and give them that factor. But I just think, like, to your point, I think we just do it. We're more homegrown and more just grassroots, if you will.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, for me, like, I don't necessarily have an issue, but I just wanted to point out, because I thought it was funny, the one UNC guy being like, well, we're still higher in the team rankings. And it's like, well, but again, we go over we want the right guys, not the
right now,
not the best guys or not the most guys. We want the right guys. Go ahead, Michael.
I was going to say, specifically about Gus Ritchie, he's in 2025, and right now we're ranked higher than them.
Yeah.
With 2 commits as opposed to their 1, but still.
It's something.
The other thing, too, real quick, is you see I just mentioned the grassroots and the homegrown. You don't see the transfers out of the program like you do for Carolina. I would venture to guess, without having done any research on it, I think we probably had more draft picks in probably the last 5 or 6 years than they have. Maybe, or at least if not, but more high profile, I would think. With first rounders and so on and so forth, and just having the overall edge like you talked about out of recent memory.
Well, and the other last thing I want to add in, though, is that, I was actually talking with Great Day Tar Heel on yesterday, which is funny because he's the one that was kind of part of it. Yeah. No. Again, Great Day Tar Heel is a great guy. He's a cool cat. Like I was telling him, I was like, I'm telling you, I think this is the make or break season for Mac Brown, because if he does not make some noise, if he does not win an ACC championship with Drake May, who more likely is going to be a top 3 draft pick next season, then man, that's gonna be like, bro, you couldn't win one ACC championship with Sam Howell or Drake May, like bro, like you got to get it done, man, at some point, So
here's even a deeper thought about that. Now you have 2 chances to make the ACC championship game instead of just 1, right? Because they take the top 2 teams in, so you don't even have to win your division. You get like we've talked about before, you get a little buffer there.
Right.
So even more reason why you should be able to go out and win at least make an appearance, right? Like they did that last year, but again, Coastal Chaos, weak Coastal Division. They've had different people every year, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
So, Cam, we'll get to the AP poll thoughts here in a minute, and then Hunter, we'll talk about the upgrades here as well in a minute as well. But I wanted to move over to this one question, which we'll just spend a second on. I know Gus Ritchie's been on a little bit on, but in terms of so we had somebody ask, can you please explain recruiting stars? And then talk about quality versus quantity, high school versus transfer, things like that. And so first things first, so I did a little research, and so the stars is based off of primarily a numerical rating. So kind of so basically the idea is that, like, beside each, and this is based off 24/7. Like if you look at each recruit, there's a rating that's given to them. And so they're
like an 89, a 91, a 92. That's what you're referring to.
Out of actually 110. Now 110 is only, I think Jadeveon Clowney ever really got to the 110 mark, but basically 101 to 110 is like franchise player, like one of the best players to ever come along. If you're 98 to 100, then you're a 5-star prospect, which means that you're typically one of the top 30 players in the country. 90 to 97, it means you're a 4-star prospect, so you're typically one of the top 300 players in the country. And then 80 to 89, 3-star prospect, one of the top 10% players in the country. And then 2-star is, this is for a bulk of the rest of the Division I players. So, so that's kind of how when you look at a star rating, that's typically what it means. And obviously, it's completely, there's nothing like set. It's not like
it's subjective.
It's not a calculation. It's subjective, 100%. Yeah. So that's why you'll see like On 3 will have somebody as a 3-star. But then 24/7 has him as a 4-star. And because Gus Ritchie, he's a borderline. I think one of them has him as a 4-star, but maybe not 24/7. So, and
there's there's like three or four of them. You have ESPN, you have 24/7, like you just mentioned. You have Rivals, or no, Rivals is gone now. I think that's on.
No, Rivals is still.
Is Rivals still around? Okay. Again, there's so many of them, right? I mean, that's kind of the point I was going to make is there's like 4 or 5, 6 of them. And they then you kind of get the aggregate of, how you say, like you said, like he's a 3 or 4-star, depending on who you subscribe to. And the other thing too, we'll talk about real quick is if you get an offer from like an Alabama or one of those big boys, Georgia's, that sometimes will give you an extra 0.5-star to a full star, just because of the offer itself. And you've talked before, Leighton, about kids, Street losing a star because he went to NC State. So it's whatever you make of it.
It don't mean anything at the end of the day.
It doesn't. I will say, on an individual level, it doesn't mean anything. Like there's no difference in player being ranked an 87 and a 90. But on a bigger scale level, when you can stack big class after big class, that's a good indicator of success. Like I think it's since 24/7 started, or I guess not 24/7, since rankings started in like the early 2000s, any team that's won a national championship has had at least 50% of their roster be 4 and 5 stars. No team that has under 50% of 4 and 5 stars on their roster has ever won a national championship. So you really you have to look at it on a bigger scale, on like a 3 or 4 year period if you're really recruiting at a high level. But on an individual from player to player, it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's a great research stat there, Michael. I think we'll leave it at that. That was beautiful.
I got nothing.
Cam says so. It's like Madden video game ratings.
I was thinking that was the thought process I had too. Yeah,
I'd agree with that approach. So, yep. And then the last question here for Tuffy's mailbag: any updates on Jaden Mustaf's recruitment? Top 30 guard in the class of 2024 class. He's a combo guard. Plays now with Overtime Elite, based out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's a 4-star recruit, top 30 in the country, and he has a flurry of offers. And from everything I've seen, I mean, again, I would say that the biggest thing which I want to go ahead and actually just crush. Keep in mind, Tuffy Talk will never, unless things really, really change. We'll never get into the recruiting side. Obviously, now we are fans. I mean, we're fans first and foremost. So, like, for me, like, I was going to go to Victory Day last Saturday, but then that got canceled, or it got, cut off. So I was like, well, I live in Medvin, which is only about, 10 minutes away from Jonathan Taylor's high school. So I'll go to his commitment thing. So it wasn't necessarily like we were there like covering recruiting per se. It was just like, hey, we're fans. Let's go see this guy commit that we feel very, very confident about. And luckily enough, he did. And so I would say that if you want anything in terms of really detailed, I would highly suggest going to check out either, the Wolfpacker, Inside Pack Sports, or Pack Pride. So just wanted to say that first and foremost, because I don't want to say too much that, anything that's insider info. But the one thing which I will say from everything I've been hearing, not really insider stuff, is that, we've been on him like white on rice. We've really recruited him hard. He's definitely felt it. He's definitely appreciated it. I think the biggest thing that will really help is to win. I think we need to go and make a statement, have a great year, and make it clear to him that he's joining a train that's moving uphill, not moving laterally or moving downhill.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I think for me, that's the biggest thing right now. Michael, Greg, any additions to that?
Yeah, I think winning solves everything, and you showing up to games, home crowd support, all of that, recruits see all that stuff. Staying positive on social media, recruits see that stuff. It's just, it's a game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And so patience is a virtue.
Yeah.
Which I go ahead, Michael.
Well, I was just going to say specifically with Mustaf, I think he's still got one more visit to Maryland. So who knows what could happen after that. But
he was like, what? Is this the one that was Indiana, Maryland?
I think Indiana, Maryland, Florida State. I think it's top 5.
Georgia Tech,
and Georgia Tech. That's right.
Yeah. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. So so we'll see. I think we're in great standings for him. I think it sounds. I have a gut feeling like he won't necessarily make a decision anytime soon. Before the school year starts or anything like that. So I think he'll,
I think he's announced a date in September for his.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard he's going to commit to Maryland and then flip 11 days to state. That's
I love it. I love it. But as you can see, again, I'm definitely no expert when it comes to the recruiting side, and none of us will be. And if we are, it's not our information. But so, or if we seem like it, it's not because it's we just are around it. But anyway, so go check them out, y'all. But with that being said, though, so I completely blew it and did not add the AP poll to our Tuffy's tweets of the week. So before we even, Well, and so I wanted to go ahead and just kind of review it real quick here. So I had it lined up here. So FSU came out number 8, Clemson number 9, UNC 21, Pitt 32, Louisville 34, Duke 40, and us 47. And you may say, well, wait, I thought it's to top 25. Well, basically, the whole system is based off of how many votes you get from the ballots. And so if you received a vote, then you're technically ranked, to an extent. But you get a point. So once again, so Michael, give it to me first. Which of those, let's see here, 7 teams would you say you were most shocked by the rankings? Again, 8 FSU, 9 Clemson, UNC 21, Pitt 32, Louisville 34, and then Duke 40 and us 47.
I think, Duke and Louisville, because I think Louisville is ranked that high because they have an easy schedule. But if you're ranking them that high because they have an easy schedule, then Duke should be lower because they've got an impossible schedule. And I thought that was pretty low for us. In the coaches poll that came out the week before, we were, I think, around 35 or 36.
I saw 25th, but yeah.
Well, we probably got votes, but like you were saying, it goes by points. So I think every person
Right.
submits a ballot for 25, their top 25, and then if you don't get enough, if you're not included in enough top 25s, that's thank you after the 25.
Yeah.
Which let us know in the comments, y'all, too, before Greg chimes in here. Let us know in the comments who you were surprised by. Do you think that one team should have been lower? You think one team should have been higher? Let us know in the comments, y'all. Greg, which one would you say stood out the most to you?
So for me, Florida State and Clemson, considering Clemson was picked to win the ACC, and by a fairly large margin, if memory serves, and that they have FSU ahead from a national perspective. Now, remember, the ACC is picked by ACC media writers, which I'm pretty sure most of those dudes and dudettes have AP votes. So for me, that was and again, 8-9 is not a big, but if you look at the ACC portion, there was a big gap. But for state, I agree. I would have thought that around 40, 42, somewhere around there. And then the last thing I'll say is these are AP, or the AP is mostly like journalists and like TV media personalities who don't watch film like coaches. I would put more stock into a coach's poll versus an AP poll. And by the way, none of this crap means anything except for good fodder for us to talk about, because the real crap comes out in November when they release the first CFP poll. That's the only one that matters. And again, it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish.
Well, again, we're going to learn a lot week one. I mean, Clemson going to Duke, FSU hosting LSU, us playing, UConn at UConn. I mean, that'll say something. That may not say a lot, but I'll say something. And then who else?
UNC South Carolina.
UNC South Carolina. Yeah, that'll be a big one too. So yeah, for me, I mean, listen, I have no issues. Like after last year and us being hype, I have no issue with us being not like completely just like written off, but like, okay, they'll be a good team. Like, I mean, that's basically what 47 is saying. You'll be a good team. You'll be great. You'll be good. And so, and I mean, right now, I mean, just like Hunter says right here, many people outside of Wolfpack Nation think we're going 6-6 or 7-5. I mean, right now the Vegas total win total is still at 6.5. Now the over 6.5 is very juiced right now. So if you're betting over, then you're gonna have to bet more than if you do under. So I mean, basically Vegas is saying about 7-5, which I mean. That's the biggest thing, which I got to remind Wolfpack Nation, is keeping in mind that, again, we'll come out with our predictions here, not this coming week, but the following week. But to me, 8-4, really good year. 9-3, amazing year. 10-2, sign Doeren to a lifetime contract. Like, literally, I will write it up myself. Sign that guy. If he can pull 10-2 with this schedule, with this team, with all that we lost last year, just – like, because again, it all could, and now because another thing which I'll say as well is, again, it goes to the overall picture. A lot of people say, well, Doeren's had 5 losing ACC records in his tenure. If you look at the overall picture, he's gone slightly uphill each year. There's been big things that have pushed him up this hill. If he can go 10-2 with this roster, with this schedule, that is a huge jump even further up that we have never even imagined possible. And
you're probably playing for an ACC championship.
And again, and 10-2, and 10-2, looking at the schedule is not impossible. And especially with all everything that we're hearing about the potential of Brennan Armstrong and like if we get a top 30 offense in the country, 10-2 is very within reason, and top 30, that's well within reason too. I mean, again, I mean, just saying. So, but yeah, anyway, so yeah, just wanted to remind Wolfpack Nation of that. Everybody being like, oh, really? 8-4 is a great year. Well, yeah, if you take everything into consideration, what we lost, I mean, it's a very tough schedule this year, even though a lot of them are at home. It's just hey,
yeah. I think it depends on how it goes through,
and then who those 4 losses are. Exactly. Yeah,
right.
And like last year, if you had said 8-4 at the beginning of the year, that would have been probably disappointing. But you lose 3 quarterbacks, have to play 4 different guys, and it's like a pretty good season for what Doeren had to deal with there.
Yeah, it's all context, right? At the end of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Hunter says FSU is at Clemson, so ranking FSU over Clemson is stupid. I thought that Clemson was going to FSU. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
remember.
Okay.
Nah, I don't really study other people's schedule. I got too much time in ours.
Well, if it is true that FSU is going to Clemson, then FSU's definitely got their work cut out for them. Cole says we play better when under the radar, 100% for sure. Preacher Man says it was a great week all around, not just for football, but Coach V going into the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Yep,
for sure.
absolutely. Was awesome to see his grandson wearing his his jacket, his Hall of Fame jacket. That was awesome to see.
Cool.
So super excited for the Valvano family, and so it was awesome to see. And congratulations to Jimmy V and the Valvano family. Very excited for them. Cam says if we win our first 2 games, we will be ranked. Considering Notre Dame is number 13, you would like to think so.
More than likely.
I mean, I think if you're not, you're right there. You're top 30 for sure.
Yeah, because I think we're Notre Dame's 3rd game, so obviously if they stumble out the gate, that does change things. And their first 2 opponents are Navy and I believe Central Connecticut State, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then Bart Brownlaw said ACC journalist picked State 4th in the ACC, and that equals 47th nationally ranked.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's just. I'm not surprised by that. I think the ACC media definitely, we talk a lot about. There's some that aren't good, that aren't great, but they definitely have. When you're talking specifically ACC media, they definitely have their finger on the pulse of the ACC better than the national media. So I'm not surprised to see us picked higher by the ACC media.
Yeah, and the national opinion of the ACC is not very good these days. We haven't really done a lot other than the Clemson run a couple years ago. I know they've kind of, was it 2 years in a row they haven't been in the playoffs?
It's been a bit.
I think 2020 they went, but lost to Ohio State.
Yeah, so when your flag waving, flag carrying, water carrying team is not doing anything, you're not going to get a lot of love from the big boys out there. Just the way it goes. You got to change the narrative. We go out and win ball games.
Amen. All right, y'all. So we got a ton of tweets of the weeks to get to. So let's go ahead and jump right here to. And let's go ahead and get right to it, y'all, here. So obviously a few days ago, everybody knows because everybody's talked about it. The news about North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper sending a letter to the NCAA president asking him to reconsider the NCAA decision of denying the waiver for Kent State transfer wide receiver Tez Walker, who transferred to UNC and was trying to make a claim to get eligibility for this 2023 season. Oh, man.
Where to begin?
Where to begin? I mean, so first of all, yes, we know he is a UNC grad. And I think, unfortunately, that doesn't help his case whatsoever. And everybody's almost saying that. It's like, well, of course he would do that because he's a UNC grad. Of course he would send a letter for UNC, player in distress, but not do it for NC State or anybody else, whatsoever. And so here's my thing. To me, I feel for Tez. I mean, Walker. I mean, I get it. Like, listen, at the end of the day, he wanted to move, closer to, his family, specifically his grandmother, but he still wanted to be able to play college football.
Allegedly.
So I totally understand that. Allegedly. Well, and, so again, everything he was saying, and I mean, all I can do is just take, from the information I'm given, now if there's anything behind that, not sure. No kind of insider information coming from right here. I can tell you that. But from everything I'm seeing, which is, again, he wanted to be closer to his family, specifically his grandmother, while still playing college football, then all right, cool. I get it. But at the end of the day, the rules are very clear, just like Michael said 100 times, which I want to let you get in.
Yeah.
That after you transfer once, which he transferred to Kent State originally, I can't remember where from, but then he transferred a second time. If you transfer a second time, you have to sit out a year. And that is all, again, just to really limit this whole, parade of just free agency, just jumping from one school to the other, willy-nilly, So Michael, I know you got into a couple of back and forths with this, so
It was great, by the way.
So give me your thoughts, man. Go for it.
I was trolling hard this week. No, I mean it sucks, but
allegedly.
They tightened the rules after he went into the transfer portal.
Hold on. Say that part again, though. That's important.
Or after what? Tighten the rules?
They tightened the existing rules. So it's always been a rule. It's always been a rule about
you've always needed a waiver to transfer a second time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were just giving them out more clear.
They were giving them out like Oprah. You get a waiver. You get a waiver. You get a waiver.
Right. And they had to do something to cut down on it. And it sucks that, one class, obviously this was always going to be affected by it because that's just how the NCAA works. They make a change and then the first people that gets, screwed by that change are going to have the biggest gripe. But, next year people will know going in, knowing the rules. But I don't know. And then specifically, if we're talking about the letter, I tweeted, I don't know if that helps him because the NCAA can't just change the ruling because
they're not going to be bullied.
A politician that's sets a very bad precedent.
Could you imagine though if they flip their ruling? Like, dude, crap would hit the fan. I'm telling you, man. And I would use a different word here, but we try not to say bad words. But they just can't let that happen. They can't set the precedent that all it takes is a letter from a politician to change their rules. Because once again, Greg, I'll let you get right here. Back in 2021, College World Series, no letter. 2022, we go to Bridgeport in Connecticut to play UConn, no letter. And baseball, we make it all the way to ACC championship game, get knocked out, not even let into the NCAA tournament, no letter. But then they have one. So again, on all those cases, the teams got screwed. In this case, a player got screwed of a team. A player of a team got screwed. Well, I don't even say screwed. He didn't even get screwed. At the end of the day,
he still has his eligibility. He still has his eligibility too.
And he doesn't even lose a year. He didn't even lose a year.
So in summary, all those were teams that got screwed. This is a player that didn't get what, morally made sense. Let's put it that way, allegedly. So that's the biggest thing that I think that for me and for all state fans is like, come on now, seriously. Like it's the same thing with Swafford when he was the commissioner of the ACC. It's like you shouldn't have a commissioner of the ACC who attended the school of one of the, who attended one of your schools. Yeah, one of your partner schools. Like again, because every single time you do something, like whether, for example, when he went to the committee hearings when UNC was getting looked at by the NCAA, he went to those, but he didn't go to anybody else's meetings. It's like, see, now I can all of a sudden say, well, you're only doing that because you went to UNC, and that's not right. So right here, Cooper, he went to UNC. The only time he raised a letter is when UNC got their backs a little bit against the wall. So Greg, please go ahez.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, no, we've been beating it, but there's some key facts here that I think need to be, thrown out there. One, Tez Walker started at North Carolina Central, so he was already in North Carolina. All right, so there's number one. He transferred after the 20 season was canceled. There was nothing that says 21 was going to be canceled, so he left on his own free accord. Again, his right.
NC Central played football in fall 2021.
Correct. I know he got injured, did some stuff up at Kent State. Great, whatever. But allegedly there's some, and Michael put it out there that he gave interviews and had some stuff to say that, like, again, if you're just trying to be closer to grandma, then why are you looking at Penn State? Why are you looking at Rutgers? Right? That's not closer to grandma. And again, we don't know. We're just laying the facts out, and we're like Fox. We gave you the facts and you decide. And the rule was always there, and I think that's the most important thing. They didn't create a new rule just to screw this kid. Like, by the way, there was like 4 or 5 other guys that are in big time programs that were affected by this ruling too. And the one more quick point I'm going to make: this is a slippery slope for the governor now, because there's a couple of Cams out there, one being Cam Woods, who potentially could be in this boat come basketball season if basketball rules the same way that football is ruling. And then there's another Cam that used to be here, and I just forgot his name, the point guard, the guard that's now ECU that went from Cam Hayes. Yeah. Cam Hayes needs a waiver. All right. Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens there if he gets denied. And again, if Cooper steps up,
football player at Charlotte who put out a similar letter like Tez Walker did, explaining why he should be accepted again.
So again, if you're going to do it, you got to be above board. You got to do it for everybody. Mm-hmm. You create a dangerous precedent. And by the way, is there no other North Carolina laws out there that need to be like looked at and like approved and like voted on? Like, what are we doing? Like,
well, and again,
stay in your lane.
If this was the third string punter, would he have sent the letter?
No. This guy's a key cog on this offense, and now everyone's starting to backpedal on their
supposedly
predictions. Yeah, mm-hmm. Right.
It's crazy to me also that this guy Walker got voted first team All ACC. He hasn't even taken a snap in a conference higher than the MAC.
But again, that just goes to show you how good Drake May is and how much people think that Drake May.
Yeah, he makes other players better. I mean, let's be real. He's going to make other players better.
Yeah, for sure. But to make a player who's never played in a Power 5 conference automatically preseason first team All ACC.
Agreed.
Let's see how it plays out.
I'll believe it if Nate McCollum was on that list. I mean, he was very good at Georgia Tech. He's played in the league for multiple years, but I'm shocked that he was first team.
And like you said, this is the last thing that we need to say about this is like, should he probably play? He probably should, but the NCAA has drawn a hard line in the sand, and this is the hill that they're going to go die on, and this is the way it's going to be moving forward. And 2023 or 2024 transfers are going to know, hey, I need to be more selective when I'm selecting my first school because I only get one.
Yeah.
Yep. There was a reason why Diamond Johnson went to Norfolk State after transferring from Rutgers to NC State and then North Carolina State to Norfolk State. Because if she went anywhere else that was Division I, high level, then she would have had to sit out a year. But if
I don't think a lot of teams wanted to take a risk on that, taking a player who might not get.
Well, that helps too. Yeah. I mean, we don't know. I mean, again, obviously, women's basketball recruiting isn't followed like others. But anyway, all right, let's go and jump right back though into recruiting. Though, got to bring out another tweet of the week here. Just spend like a minute on this. Really, with the biggest addition being Terrell Anderson, finally getting that 4-star wide receiver that I think all state fans were feeling really good about, but just were waiting for it to finally happen. And I know there was a lot of people that were giving Joker Phillips a hard time about, man, if you lose Jonathan Taylor to South Carolina, if you lose Terrell Anderson to Tennessee, then crap's gonna hit the fan, and it's gonna be rough. And he got both of them. So hey, got to give hats off to Joker Phillips, hats off to Nye, hats off to Doeren, the whole coaching staff. They got it done, and they got two huge playmakers, specifically those two for class 2024 heading to NC State. So excited for it. Excited to see them duel against Alex Taylor. Yep, that's right. Yeah. Hey, we're taking care of our home state, y'all. I got that. That's the other thing too. That like I mentioned earlier is I love that Doeren focuses on the home state. You gotta take care of the guys here. Yeah. And he said it from 2014 that he felt there was enough talent here in North Carolina to win a championship, and he's standing by that word by recruiting North Carolina very, very hard. So So anyway, though, but let's go ahead and move on here as well. Got to give a huge shout out here to Bill Cower, who's going to be honored as a part of the North Carolina State Ring of Honor. Excited for him to get this honor. I mean, what he did at NC State is, one of the all-time great linebackers, NC State for sure. And then, packed on top of, what he did, as a coach in the NFL. He's definitely, one of the biggest names to ever come out of NC State, and, excited for him, excited to see him get honored, and excited to have him back. I know he spoke to the team last year before, during fall camp. Yep. And, so it's exciting, that he's around, it's exciting that he still loves and appreciates NC State. It's good to know, good to see. So, Michael Craig, anything else to add to that?
I'm excited for him. He's one of those guys that I tell people, because people always ask me like, okay, like who's from NC State, and I always thought Bill Cowher, and people are like, really, and he's just one of those guys because he played back in the 70s for both Lou Holtz and Bo Ryan. This new generation, a lot of people don't remember these old names. I hate to use the word old, but these guys that kind of built the legacy and started traditions at State, and it's good to see them come full circle and get their due recognition.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's great.
So the next, got to give a huge shout out here to Mike Farrell, who's one of the big media names nationally, giving a shout out on his Twitter page to Coach Doeren and saying that he's done a great job, and he's underappreciated nationally, Coach Doeren. And he said an article to come, which I haven't seen the article yet. Has he released an article yet? I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen anything.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't see either. But either way, I mean, it's good to see. And I mean, I know for us all here at Tuffy Talk, we've sung the praise of Coach Doeren every single live show, every single opportunity we get, because. And I even said it here today, the only thing you can say about Doeren is he has won an ACC championship. That is the only thing you can say about him. Like everything else that you could possibly look at as a head coach is awesome. Is great. Like, you wouldn't change it. So it just goes to show. And the only reason why I even am spending more than 2 seconds on this tweet is because when I did the shout out, to Coach Doeren saying how he's 5-2 versus UNC since 2016. He's 29-21 in the ACC over the last 6 seasons, which is third best among current ACC coaches. And he's also now sold the most ever season and single game tickets preseason this year in program history. There's never been this many season and single game tickets sold preseason. And because at the end of the day, I think that's the biggest measurement of a coach. How excited is the fan base every single year? And I can't really think of a year that there hasn't been a lot of excitement and hype heading into a season, under Coach Doeren. Maybe 2019 when we lost a lot and there was like a lot of questions, completely understandable there. But I mean, we lost Devin Leary, we lost Drake Thomas, Isaiah Moore, Tanner Ingle, Corey Durden, but yet we still sold the most season and single game tickets ever in program history.
Yeah.
Like, I think that just goes to show how juiced up the fan base is, which I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that what you want? Don't you want to be excited about the potential of NC State? And a lot of people say, well, it's about the opponents they play. Oh, so you're saying that if we played Alabama and we were going to get blown out, that you would still be so excited to go see the Alabama game? Like, no, it's because we have quality guys coming in that you also feel that we have a chance against. You know what I mean? Like, if it was Alabama and you knew we were going to get blown out by 70, are you really going to spend your money and your time going to that game? No, of course not. Like, I mean, you're going to go because you're committed, and I appreciate it. But I mean, let's be real. Like, if you're going to get blown out, I mean, that doesn't really sound like a lot of fun. If I have something else to go do, unless you're Greg and or some of us, really super committed. Like, no matter what, die or try it, which I appreciate. But it's not going to be a sold out game for NC State fans. Let's put it that way. So, Michael, Greg, anything to add on that?
Go ahead, Michael, if you got anything.
No, I agree. I mean, it's pretty. He's got the program in a good spot where every year it's exciting now, and he's obviously. We talked about a little earlier a step up in recruiting. He's recruited well enough now where you don't have big drop offs, and another step up in recruiting can take the program to another level.
Absolutely, Greg.
Just 2 quick points. One, he's got a chance to become the all-time wins leader this year at NC State. So, that's a big thing, big feather in the cap. And 2, people talk about the scheduling. We've tried to schedule, in the past. We had LSU back out of a home and home. Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing. These big programs, the Alabamas, the Tennessee, like they don't want to go home and home. They want to play neutral. No. They just don't. They just, for whatever reason, they don't like doing that. So it's sometimes very hard to get teams to schedule to do these home and homes. It's all about TV and revenue and all of that, and so they'd rather split the gate than come to your house, especially if there's a chance for a loss.
Well, everybody's saying, but this year we play VMI, we played UConn, we play Marshall. We're playing weak out of conference opponents, and it's like,
I mean, Alabama plays like Mercer. All the teams do
Everybody
it.
plays, yeah.
Like
and Notre Dame this year, when you have played Notre Dame, like that's going to be a tough non-conference that you have to play. And we were supposed to play Cincinnati this year, but with them moving to the Big 12, that obviously got canceled. So.
Right, and that's how we have Marshall.
Marshall, which is a pretty good replacement to find on that short notice.
Right,
I mean,
sure.
Cincinnati's
because we just did it last year, if I believe, right?
Yeah, it was last year.
So it's really hard to find an opponent 1 year out. I mean, there's a reason why we have Florida on the schedule like 10 years from now, Georgia 8-9 years from now. Like you have to schedule way out in advance to get these types of programs. And then there's, again, like I just said, there's no guarantee that they show up.
Yeah. Absolutely. So again, and at the end of the day, I'm saying, okay, well then forget the out conference. Let's just focus in conference. He has the third best record among current ACC coaches in the ACC. So, like what else do you want from the man? Like, yeah, you want a championship. Well, guess what? Over the last 11 years, there's only been 3 coaches that have won an ACC championship, and one of them's not part of the ACC anymore. So, it's not like everybody's done it. Only a select few have done it in the last 10, 11 years. So, all right. So let's jump on over to another one here. This is one from College Football Home, who put together a stat talking about the last time each ACC former coastal team finished in the AP top 10. Georgia Tech 2014, Virginia Tech 2009, Miami 2003, UNC 1997, Pitt 1982. Duke 1960 and Virginia never. Now,
Virginia doesn't sound right.
I mean,
I didn't do the research.
Well, this isn't a guy with 60 followers that put this together either. So I mean, I would assume that I would take it more for its word than if it was somebody like that. But I think really the biggest thing to say on this is it still stands to me now when I was watching AC kickoff and Pat Narduzzi was being interviewed, and he was like, everybody always said that the coastal was so much easier than which I think is completely incorrect. And now I know that for NC State, we were back in the top 10 back during the Phillip Rivers years, right? Didn't we get 10th during Phillip Rivers years? Or we were close to 10th. We got close to 10th.
Yeah, I don't know.
We were up there. We were at least top 12 or 13 in the country finished. So I mean, I know we, it's not like we've done in the last 10 years being ranked and finished in the top AP top 10. But to me, it's just more of just a statement. I mean, even Virginia Tech. I mean, Virginia Tech hasn't been what it used to be, during the Michael Vick, Frank Beamer years. So I mean, it just goes to show once again, like now that divisions have gone, the ACC is wide open. Again, there's been 2 or 3 different years where Doeren has had the second best ACC record in the whole ACC, but didn't play an ACC championship game because obviously only one team goes, and both those years were Clemson. So, so anyway, but anything else to add on this one before we move forward?
No, I just verified they haven't been UVA. Yeah, 13 was the closest they got. So.
All right, so sources are coming in. There has been no indication that Florida State will file notice by Tuesday deadline that it will leave the ACC by 2024. Also, no indication that any votes have changed regarding Stanford and Cal.
Yeah,
and so to me, this is a round of applause. Thank goodness. The world is not ending, because that is the only way I can imagine that FSU would pull it off, to say they're going to leave in 2024. And also, for us to actually accept Stanford and Cal. That would be terrible. God, that'd be bad. And of course, everybody's saying, Notre Dame saying, we want ACC to add Stanford and Cal. And pretty much a ton of people were like, what do we care? You're not part of the ACC. You made it very clear. You don't want to be part of us.
I mean, it was closer than – it was only 4 teams that voted no. I mean, it was Clemson, Florida State, UNC, and NC State. So you need 12 of the 15. So if one of those teams had voted yes, then Stanford and Cal would be in the ACC. But
That's that bullet.
Yeah,
I like it. Greg, anything to add to that?
I'm just glad that didn't happen. Honestly, The only thing that would have remained the same is it still could have been called the ACC and it would have been any coast conference. So
there you go.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually significant that we were included in one of those four teams that voted no, because obviously you're not going to vote no if you don't feel good about where you could be headed.
Right. Because then again, you're locking in, and then like you don't even know what the true numbers are looking like, and I think it's just best to, like you keep saying, and we've said it all, the grant of rights is both a positive and a negative, and I think it's just this thing will shake itself out, and you just want to be on the right side of it when it does.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so again, I mean, I think for me, I should have added this as a tweet of the week, but I think it was Steve Williams that said a quote from Boo Corrigan saying, NC State is in good hands. And I quote from Boo Corrigan. And like for me, like, we said it, this is really where Boo Corrigan is going to make, or break with this fan base is, how this all goes down. And I think he did a great thing by right here being one of the four, and being one of the key four to say no to Stanford and Cal joining the ACC. And I know Justin Cook is all about Stanford and Cal joining the ACC, but I mean, we went over it. If you want to know, our stance and our thoughts on it, go check out the live show last week because we really dived into that, but it was just not going to be a great thing.
5 seconds. Cal is the worst team you could ever bring into your conference. Like,
yeah, I mean,
they are so far.
What do they give us? What do they give us?
They're in debt. Like
Cal's like
their stadium is worth more for the land, not for the stadium. Like it's bad. Like they are so in debt.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You don't want that.
So got a question here from the comments. Everyone that's not NC State fan are saying that NC State is not good this year and a questionable defense. Like what? And I mean, at the end of the day, like, you just got to let it be decided on the football field. Now, I mean, yeah, there's no doubt that we're going, like, anybody who says that our defense is not going to be good this year, I mean, okay, you're entitled to your opinion, whatever it may be, but I mean, everything on paper, Gibson, what he's done, no, we're going to be.
If anybody says that, don't pay attention to them.
No, I mean, like literally, knock on wood, even if Schmilson went down, I would still feel very confident about the linebacking core between Jalen Scott, Caden Fordham. Like we're still good. Like Devin Betty. Like it's not like we're live or die off of one guy with this defense. We have a lot of depth at the and defensive line. I'm telling you all this right now. Noah Potter from the transfer from Cincinnati. I think he's gonna make some noise, man. Like that dude's a huge dude, and I'm excited to see what he can do, man. So yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not. Hey, sounds good. Appreciate your opinion. Now let's go get it done. Let's go knock out UConn. Let's go get ready for Notre Dame. So not having many injuries at UConn. Knock on wood on that too. So, all right. So now let's move on to our next one here, which I want to make sure I don't bring up. Okay, cool. So ACC men's basketball non-conference schedule is out. And there's a list here. If you're listening here, just to kind of highlight a few. We go to Ole Miss on November 28th. Play, let's see, Tennessee as a part of the Hall of Fame Invitational in San Antonio.
Yep.
Vanderbilt in the Vegas Showdown. Yep. Those are really the main three games. Well, and I guess facing either Arizona State or BYU. That's something at the Vegas Showdown, but that's pretty much about it. The rest of it, between St. Louis, who's for a men's basketball program is solid. Can't overlook that. Let's see. I mean, Michael, anything else that stands out about the schedule or anything else that was surprising or exciting?
I mean, you hit the highlights. I mean, there's no big marquee home game. I mean, St. Louis is the best team to play at home, which I know people aren't. I know there's a lot of people who don't like that because, they're buying season tickets to see us play nobody, but at the end of the day, playing away neutral and road games strengthen your resume more just by the fact of that they're neutral and away. Like
just showing up.
The Vanderbilt and Ole Miss games, because Vanderbilt is neutral, Ole Miss is at Ole Miss, because that's if we played those two teams at homes, that'd be a Q3 game. But because we're playing them on the road in neutral, it's a Q2 game. So even if we do lose them, you're only losing a Q2 game, so it's not considered a bad loss, even though it would be the same exact team you're playing at home, but it would be considered a Q3 loss, which is a bad loss. So
right.
It until they change like the net ranking and how much weight they put into where you play the game, you're probably going to see less and less exciting home games. They're going to be on the road or at neutral locations.
Now, one thing for sure is that the first game the state will play is on November 1st against Mount Olive, an exhibition game, and I will definitely be at that game because I am very excited to see all these guys playing in in-state uniform, and I'm excited to see what's going to look like. So, looking forward to it. Greg, anything to add on to the schedule here?
No, I mean, people are going to complain, but it's unfortunately this is not always for the fans. It's for padding or making your resume presentable for NCAA where it really matters. And it stinks, like Michael said. I mean, people are paying good money for these games, but
in the ACT in the last 10 or 15 years has gone from 16 conference games to 18 and now 20. So you only have 11 non-conference games. So you can't
That's a good point.
Load up with tough teams when you got a 20-game ACC schedule coming up. So it would, you got to find a balance.
And typically those are going to be better opponents anyway. Like just better game.
So moving on to our next thing here, so talking about how the PNC Arena Authority scheduled a meeting for Tuesday, aka tomorrow, to approve two term sheets, redevelopment, renovations, and a long-term Hurricanes lease extension is on the table. So, Greg, you have a lot of thoughts, obviously. Go for it.
I hope the Canes never win a cup.
Wow. Give us a little more insight than just saying that.
They already won one, so.
They don't win another cup. Yeah.
Even though we're the Vegas favorites right now for next year. So
really?
Just saying.
Probably.
The whole?
Yeah, I mean, probably. They have a lot of talent. Anyway, this isn't a podcast for them. Just what's rumored. I mean, obviously we'll know more, but it's sounding like we're going to be some of that fine wine and cheese park deck tailgating that's going to happen. A lot of potential great tailgating parking spots are going to be gone because of this. And I get it. Like, I know I don't actually.
Well, the Hurricanes let's be real. When you compare PNC Arena as a hockey facility compared to the other NHL arenas, it's definitely not. It's not even in the top 50% in terms of quality. I mean, Garrett Bedman himself, the commissioner of the NHL, has been begging Hurricanes for years to do upgrades on PNC Arena. And I know that obviously, he has nothing to do with the Canes, but I think he's really saying like if you upgrade your facilities, you can take this Hurricanes franchise to another level. And in terms of from a fan experience perspective.
But I don't even. I mean, okay, fine. Just mess with the arena. Like, don't mess with what's the
parking lot
is around the arena. Like, I know you want to put bars and restaurants and mixed use like houses and all that nonsense and create a destination entertainment district. You want to put the gambling, and I get that, but at the detriment of NC State fans. And I'm really upset at NC State about this too, that they didn't put their foot down. But the problem is they're getting money back too, and it's gonna make a lot of people upset. And it's really unfortunate that we didn't get to have a voice in any of this. Like, it was all done in secrecy, more or less.
Well,
I think. Go ahead, Michael.
I don't know. I don't know. I got to see the actual plans first, because I think they said they've scheduled a press conference for tomorrow too. I feel like State had, they had to be included, but I feel like there's going to be some give and take. Yes, you're going to lose some parking spots. I don't know. I'll just be interested to see what happens.
Yeah, rumor is there's going to be 2 parking decks. That's the rumor. Yes, there's still going to be parking for tailgating, traditional tailgating, but you're going to have to up your donation to get what you want.
One spot.
Yeah.
Which I mean, Cam, and the biggest thing which I'll say,
that's
Cam
my point.
All those,
Cam, right there. That's my point. People don't know about this.
And
people don't know
Hunter
about.
and Hunter asked, where is it planned exactly? We don't really know. Like,
That's
they're like, this isn't going to happen like in 2024. This
Right.
is, like multiple years down the road. So,
Correct.
but and for all of we should be at Reynolds full time. People
Not
out
happening.
there.
now. Yeah.
No, that's not happening. Like,
It's
no,
not
it's
happening.
it's not happening. Like seriously, like you are. Oh,
Whoa.
there goes the setup. Oh man.
That's how much it's not happening.
Hey, yeah, no, that's how much it's not happening. Yeah, no, like again, I mean, you're basically, if you go to Reynolds, like, because I think the capacity is like 5,600 people. I think 50, it's between 55 and 5,600. That would put you like in the bottom 5% of all NCAA eligible basketball programs, like in terms of capacity. That would just kill you. That's okay. If you want to be like Duke and you want to pay $9,000 for season tickets, then that's on you.
Yes.
But I don't want to do that. And us too, because I've seen that PNC Arena when it is bopping, and I'll take that all day and twice on Tuesday.
It's just as good as
it's
any arena
amazing
in the country.
Yeah. So again, no, like, that's,
I don't know.
That's
I don't know. I'll just be interested to see what it's like before I really give an opinion on it.
I'm not surprised
fair.
it happened. I'm not surprised it happened.
Nope.
I'm a little bit, yes, I agree. I'm a little bit nervous of what's going to take away, but I'll also say as well that parking wise, State has always been very blessed when it came to parking terms. I mean, we have way more parking than most college football programs out there. But I mean, I don't want to lose all that either. I don't want to lose even a significant portion.
No.
So we'll see. Just
Right.
No reason to worry right now. This isn't going to happen anytime soon. But
No.
Again, it's unfortunately with the Canes, they've been doing really well, and so they're Don Waddell and all those guys want to invest, and I can't blame them for it. So
yeah. And real quick, apparently the Peter Carmos or whatever his name was, like he had the ability. Yeah, he had the ability to do all this years ago, but apparently he was financially strapped, so it never came to fruition. And now Dundon's got the money, and like you just said, with the success, it was bound to happen. It was just it wasn't a matter of if, it was when.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially once gambling was made,
for sure,
voted
that accelerated it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. You did not have any kind of room in PNC Arena right now for that.
Right.
And Hunter said we'll see it tomorrow. Well, they're voting on pieces.
They're revealing the plans tomorrow.
I'm sure it's all done. Like it's probably like a formality, the vote, and then they'll announce it right after.
Yeah, because someone on the Canes, some kind of Canes PR dude posted that there's a major announcement tomorrow. So it's happening.
Right. Let's do it. Last comment here saying from Cam, UNC game, talking about men's basketball. Last year was the loudest I heard PNC since the 2004 Duke game when they were number one, maybe louder. I hadn't been to a game in 10 years. Well worth the drive from Charlotte that day. I would immediately push back on that by saying UNC back in 2012 when Richard Howe what was it?
That was 2013 because we beat Duke.
Yeah, 2013. But what was the 5-star recruit guy that went to transfer to UConn? No, they're transferred to UConn.
Rodney Purvis.
Rodney Purvis. Would Rodney Purvis put the dunk and Roy Williams called timeout? Like, you can still see that play on YouTube to this day. It was piercing loud because again, we were like they turned the ball over 3 times in a row. We dunked on him every single time. Like it was insanity. But yeah, I mean, like when Jarkel Joyner was hitting those shots late in the game. Yeah, no, it was really loud, no doubt. So, Cam says the College Game Day. Last thing, got to give a huge shout out here to our very own Patrick Bailey, who is now the youngest San Francisco Giants player to hit a walk-off home run since 2009, hitting a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 10th. I think it was yesterday or the day before.
Yesterday.
So Sunday. And man, it's so awesome to see, guys like Patrick Bailey, see State guys in general just
lost them. Seeing Pac State players doing so well, I think is what Leighton was going to say.
I mean, like they called him up in May
May,
I
yeah.
think. And
Yeah.
he's going to be like, he may win the Gold Glove and like be an all-star.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
coach
So
of the
that's the
year.
one thing, like, you know,
Crazy.
I think someone did a reel, I think it was about a week or so ago, like all of the, like the strikes that he's pulled. And,
Yeah, I saw that too.
yeah, I mean, those pitchers were a good, you know, half foot off the plate. And, you know, he's only hit 6 home runs, but they always seem to be at very key moments, you know, and that, you know, he's got a nice on base, nice average. I think he was like 267, 275, something like that. And this is a guy that, you know, is around like 250 plate appearances. So that's, yeah, he's only going to get better. I mean, there's no doubt. And the thing is his defense is already, you know, all-star caliber. I think he threw a guy out yesterday. So, Leighton, you're back, my friend.
He's picking people off left and right too. I mean, there's a compilation of him just taking out the guys at first base, like the quick throwback.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, y'all. So with that being said, we will end it right there, y'all. So first of all, thank you all so much again for tuning in. You know, it was awesome. I appreciate everybody in the comments. You know, and also too, once again, y'all, you know, just cannot thank enough for support as we just reached over 14,000 followers on Twitter, which is absolutely phenomenal. Cannot thank you enough. And I will go ahead too and say for all those tuning in right now that we have a huge plan under place under happening right now in the background within Tuffy Talk that will be a game changer for Tuffy Talk, which will you'll see a little bit of it come to fruition here within the next week or two. So definitely make sure to have your eyes peeled for sure for it. And then for the time being, make sure again we have 4 episodes coming out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The first 2 are going to be Eric McLean from ACC Network, and then the last 2 is going to be Mr. Andre Brown. Yeah, we were awesome and lucky enough to have Andre Brown, former NC State running back, to discuss NC State football and his time in NC State, which those episodes will come out on Thursday and Friday. So to make sure you do not miss out on those, again, hit that free subscribe button, hit that free notification bell, so that way you're notified on all your devices when we go live. And also too, it really helps support us. And then if you wouldn't mind, give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you enjoyed this conversation, do us a big favor as well and hit that like button, and we would greatly appreciate that as well. But with that being said, we got 2 more live shows, y'all, before the first game against UConn. We are excited. Can't wait for it. And again, just 17 days away, y'all. Looking forward to it. We'll talk to y'all soon. And go Pack, y'all.